Snow pressed against shuttered windows, and somewhere in the distance artillery rolled like distant thunder that never fully faded. The sound had become part of the air itself, a low vibration beneath every thought, beneath every breath. Inside the city, walls stood half-broken, roofs open to the sky, staircases leading nowhere. Men moved through corridors of rubble with quiet urgency, speaking little, conserving warmth and energy as carefully as ammunition. "Keep your head down," whispers a soldier, voice rough from cold and smoke. Across a courtyard scarred by shellfire, a rifle rests against cracked masonry. Behind it lies Vasily Zaitsev, face still, eyes scanning patiently. Through the scope, he watches small movements, a shadow crossing too quickly. He exhales. A shot breaks the morning. Somewhere across the ruins, a German officer collapses before anyone can react. Hours later, in a dim shelter lit by a weak flame, soldiers speak in low voices. "They say it was Zaitsev again," murmurs a young recruit, rubbing his hands together. "He sees everything." Another replies, half admiration, half disbelief. Nearby, Zaitsev cleans his rifle slowly, as if the careful ritual holds back the chaos outside. "You are becoming a symbol," says a political officer quietly, trying to sound encouraging. Zaitsev pauses, then resumes his work. "I would rather be unnoticed," he answers. "They need someone to believe in," the officer insists. Zaitsev looks up briefly. "They need to survive," he says simply. Outside, the artillery continues its endless conversation with the earth. Meanwhile, in Germany, a cold wind moves across a training ground where targets stand in silent rows. Rifle shots crack in measured rhythm as trainees watch a man demonstrate with calm precision. He adjusts slightly, fires, and the distant target drops cleanly. "Major," calls an officer approaching with restrained urgency. The man keeps his eye on the scope. "I am occupied," he replies evenly. "It concerns Stalingrad," the officer says. Now the major lowers the rifle and turns. "What is required?" he asks. "A Soviet sniper is disrupting operations," the officer explains. "Command losses are increasing. Morale is affected." The major listens without expression. "Name?" he asks. "Zaitsev." A moment passes, not surprise, but interest. "Prepare transport," the major says. Days later, the train carries him east through landscapes buried in winter, toward a city already becoming legend for reasons no one would celebrate. In Stalingrad, German officers gather around reports filled with careful handwriting and growing concern. "He targets leadership," one explains quietly. "He adapts," another adds. The door opens. "Boots step inside." "Major," says an officer with visible relief. "Brief me," he says. Documents are reviewed, positions discussed, patterns considered not emotionally, but methodically. Across the ruined city, word spreads quietly among Soviet troops. "They have sent their best," whispers a sniper to Zaitsev. Zaitsev studies the horizon. "Then we will learn from each other," he replies calmly. Days pass with a subtle shift in the air. Shots become less frequent but more deliberate, as if two minds are probing the same puzzle from opposite sides. German patrols hesitate before crossing open ground. Soviet observers linger longer before exposing themselves. Each side senses a presence. One morning, Zaitsev lies hidden among broken steel beams, watching patiently. Across the ruins, unseen, the major studies through binoculars, tracking habits, timing, the small inconsistencies that reveal intention. "He is careful," the major murmurs softly to himself. Hours stretch. Neither fires. The city seems suspended between breaths. Later, a Soviet soldier crawls toward Zaitsev. "Orders suggest relocation," he whispers nervously. Zaitsev keeps watching. "Not yet," he replies. Across a shattered courtyard, something feels wrong, a stillness too deliberate. Both men wait. A distant explosion shakes dust loose from walls, and for a fraction of a second, a reflection flashes. Two shots ring out almost together. Concrete fragments scatter. Silence returns. "You saw him," the soldier whispers. "Yes," Zaitsev answers quietly. Night falls early in winter. Inside a ruined building, Zaitsev sits with fellow soldiers. "He studies you," one says. "So I study him," Zaitsev replies. Across the city, the major writes notes by dim light, recording observations with professional detachment. "Disciplined," he murmurs. "Patient." Days later, Under a pale sky, the tension reaches its quiet conclusion. Moving through a factory yard reduced to twisted metal and frozen debris, Zaitsev senses a presence before seeing it. Across the ruins, the major waits, rifle steady, breath slow. For a long moment, neither moves. Wind carries fine snow across broken ground. A subtle shift. A shot echoes. Dust rises, then settles. History does not record every detail of that moment. Accounts differ, stories evolve, and memory reshapes events into legend. What remains certain is that the duel became a symbol within a battle already larger than comprehension. Beyond individual stories, the city itself endured unimaginable destruction. By the time fighting ended in early 1943, hundreds of thousands of soldiers and civilians had been killed, wounded, or captured. Entire districts were reduced to rubble, and survival often depended on endurance rather than strategy. The German Sixth Army, once advancing with confidence, found itself encircled, cut off, and gradually consumed by cold, hunger, and relentless pressure. Its eventual surrender marked one of the most significant turning points of the war, shifting momentum irreversibly on the Eastern Front. For those who lived through it, Stalingrad was not only a battle, but an experience that reshaped how war was understood, revealing the limits of planning, the fragility of human endurance, and the immense cost carried by individuals within vast systems of command. Today, the rebuilt city stands over ground layered with memory. Beneath streets and buildings lie traces of conflict, reminders of a winter when decisions made far away unfolded through the lives of ordinary people. The stories of snipers, soldiers, commanders, and civilians continue to be told not only because of their drama, but because they invite reflection on how individuals navigate circumstances beyond their choosing and how resilience emerges even in the most difficult conditions. The echoes of that winter remain, carried not just in history books, but in the quiet recognition of what people can endure when confronted with forces larger than themselves.